다 치주 강가 로터니 다 다시 되는 거요. 스타네 드리운 아주 뜻이 두두 지금라. 다 맞세테 간디하고 스토 그거래. 소노 간디스토 그거래. 다 샤와 가리나 요더니 그렇게 라보지도 나와 간디스 그거래.
So first of all, tashi dele, or hello to all of my Dharma friends. First, I would like to just greet all of you, and then in terms of today, in this short time that we have together, I'd like to give some advice on how to make our life go in a good direction, how to have wholesome kinds of thoughts, how to engage in wholesome kinds of activities, and so forth.
어당안조 지킬래마다 담말래마가 스도 세이나요. 어당이 접근도 가디이나요. 근데 내가 때뭐 해야지. 어두마 춘준이 이제 때는 매와서야 되는 가간 매와요. 가가 시오레리아레스.
So then all human beings and all beings indeed, whether they are believers or non-believers, and whatever age from when they are very, very young up until now, they have the same basic wish. And that basic wish is to be able to find a stable happiness. So the first thing that should be mentioned here is that we call suffering and happiness, these arise from particular causes. So if we want to achieve happiness, we have to accumulate the causes necessary for that. And the way to approach this is first to accumulate some of the smaller causes, and then gradually, as we practice, to accumulate more and more significant causes towards that goal of lasting happiness. So then for all of us, the question becomes, in terms of accumulating virtuous karma, in an easy way, in terms of accumulating effective virtuous karma, how do we do that? How do we do that so that we accumulate the causes for happiness in this lifetime and for happiness in future, from lifetime to lifetime to come? So one of the things I would like to mention here is that those holy beings, the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas, what they explained is that in terms of suffering and happiness, the main cause of our suffering or happiness is something that lies within our mind. Therefore, if we are a person who wants to accumulate the causes of happiness, we must accumulate those causes based upon our mind. Yeah. So then, let's look at different ways to do this. So many of the great masters, the holy beings, the first thing that they do when they wake up in the morning is they will make 3 prostrations to the triple gem. Of course, many engage in more prostrations, but they will engage in a minimum of 3. And then having made those 3 prostrations, they then establish a motivation, thinking that I will not harm even one single sentient being today. I will not harm even one sentient being, and I will strive to benefit sentient beings as much as I can.
Yes, that Buddha Zumbikala, Yimbikala, Rusha Sota, Ramada, so Matasa, only that man in Sekara, only Otasha San and Mate can even go to the Mulu. You might like lawyer appreciate the Mulu. Only the back and the condition that touches for the Korea, and one of
And then in the evening, what happens is the great masters, they will make 3 prostrations or more and then reflect on how did the day go. What sort of virtuous things was I able to do effectively? What kind of virtuous karma did I accumulate? And similarly, what sort of mistakes or unwholesome karma did I accumulate? And in this way, they evaluate. And then, so of course, having examined that day, then if the day went well, they would say to themselves that I should rejoice, I did very well today. But if the day did not go well, they would look at the specific reasons. They would think that I must stop those negative activities. I must refrain from those mistakes and that negative karma as much as possible. And this is something that is extremely effective in terms of training the mind, transforming the mind, and stopping negativity. It's a very effective practice. So the holy beings, these great masters, they introduced this tradition or this custom into Tibet. So then even ordinary people, especially fathers and mothers, they would teach their children about this. And at a minimum, in the morning when they get up, they would make 3 prostrations. And before going to sleep at night, they would make 3 prostrations. They might not have engaged in all the other thought processes that we just mentioned, but at least they maintained this tradition, something very positive. So this is something I wanted to share with people that perhaps you could say that some of them are my students and all of my Dharma friends. Also, whether you are Western, whether you are Tibetan, this habit of the reflection and prostration before going to sleep is something very beneficial. And this is also something very beneficial that parents can share with their children. So then also just to go back to the morning part of this, if one does the prostrations, if one reflects in this way, then one can begin with the first of what we call the 6 preparatory practices. And of course this is to clean the place of practice well and arrange representations of holy body, holy speech, and holy mind. But even if one is not able to do that extensively, on the basis of doing the prostrations and reflections, if one can clean the place of practice a little bit and make offerings of water to the holy beings, this is something really beneficial. And so in terms of these prostrations, there is a very big reason behind them. Of course, we want a healthy body and a healthy mind. The practice of prostration is something that allows us to use our body to give rise to positive minds, to establish the basis for being successful in generating positive mental qualities. So then generally when we speak about the generation of positive mental qualities, whether we want to talk about arising love or compassion and so forth within our mind, for example, one of the main obstacles to being able to generate those positive qualities effectively is pride. Pride is a mind that makes it really difficult to bring forth what is wholesome. So somebody who is very, very, very proud, a very, very proud person, it will be very difficult for them to see positive qualities even in holy beings. In fact, it will be impossible for them to see positive qualities even in anyone else. And for that reason, because of that pride, it is difficult for them to be successful in practice. So the classical Tibetan analogy for a prideful person is a very high mountain peak. On a very high and steep mountain peak, no grass can grow. So the proud person is like that very high and steep mountain peak. The grass of good qualities cannot sprout there. So then the practice of prostration is a simple way to be able to accumulate vast merits, and in addition to that merit accumulation, as I explained here, it is also an antidote to pride. So Geshe was saying that this connects with the 6 preparatory practices, and the first of the 6 preparatory practices is to clean the place of practice well and arrange beautiful representations of holy body, holy speech, and holy mind. And if you watched the last video, you will remember how Geshe explained a little bit about how the first part of this, cleaning the place of practice, that process of cleaning can be a contemplation on the 4 noble truths, at least the courser of the 4 noble truths. So there are many stories even at the time of Buddha Shakyamuni. Some of his disciples, they had very limited intellectual capacity, and it was through introducing simple practices like this, like cleaning and contemplating the 4 noble truths. And just from contemplating sincerely in that way, they were able to bring forth powerful positive mental qualities, realization in that same lifetime. So it is said that this practice of cleaning, this establishes a good basis for positive mental qualities, because of course if the base is cluttered, if the base is covered with garbage, then it will be very difficult to bring forth positive minds. It will be very difficult to be able to receive the assistance of those deities that appreciate cleanliness. Similarly, one will experience more obstacles in one's session. So this is quite important. So Geshe said that there are generally 5 qualities that are said to arise from this practice of cleaning the room. He would like to just mention a few of them. The first is that one's own mind becomes happy and peaceful. The second is that the cleanliness becomes a source of happiness or peacefulness for the minds of others. The third is that the deities that like virtue, they will appreciate and be comfortable in that place. And the other one is that from lifetime to lifetime, one can enjoy being born in good circumstances, high status.
이게 단담을 요하러 왔 대지가 더지 맞uma 요요 손도나 아니 거치 문이 쳐도 왔
So, when you are cleaning the place of practice, don't just think that you are sweeping away the ordinary dust or the ordinary dirt in that place. Imagine that you are also cleaning away the dust or the dirt within your mind, the dust of the afflictions of pride, of attachment, of anger, ignorance, and so forth. And that through sweeping away this dust, you are making room within your mind to bring forth the sprouting of these positive mental qualities.
어따더니 같이 못하 양아로서 강가지 바래 손sol을 생각이 오면가 자양라고도 저월 유전라고도 바체더니 이나 맞춤아서요 손도네 여보체나 근데베도 아레스.
And also, Geshe said sometimes you might have some unhappiness in your mind, you might have like a feeling of discontent or stress and so forth. At times like this practice of cleaning the room can really bring benefit to one's mental state.
아까 살아와서 어따더니 지네 다더니 맞체듯이 여보치도 도나 어따된데더니 야르야르 아까 살아와서
And on this the basis of this simple practice, then not only can one have some good things happening within this life, but one can also establish the cause to improve and get better and better in the future.
어따 요이치 주근 년전라고 사람한테 노징한도 좋게도 군달을 샤서 사게야. 아니 요이치 주근 도모데 같이 모이마다 디디스간도 로차이사 인지민지 관계 때문에 보서 치스.
So please keep this stable within your mind. Just in terms of what I presented today, I presented the first of these 6 preparatory practices, and I also explained the importance of the 3 prostrations in the morning and a contemplation, and the 3 prostrations in the evening and a contemplation.
야 뒤에 강가다 이들에.
Thank you very much. Tashi dele to everyone.